in the area, high 59. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Cloudy and 58 degrees now in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
This is the Gashouse Gang on 104.1 FM KMOX. Sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer. Now, the Gashouse Gang on KMOX.
Here we go. It is a Friday, and it is time to talk a little sports with you, and we appreciate you for being with us. Matt Pauley, Chris Ranji on the show today, every weekday at noon during your lunch hour. We bring you the best sports talk here in St. Louis. I guarantee you that. So on the show today, we're going to talk with Amy Markskords at 12:30 about the Blues, who had another rough one at Enterprise Center last night. So that makes what now? 3 of 4 games where it's just kind of gotten out of hand. We'll talk to her about that, where it stands now, what's going on with the Blues in this early part of the season. And Scott McFarland, CBS News, is going to join us at 12:45. Talking about the NBA betting and poker scandal, which broke yesterday, and what the latest is on that entire situation. Over 30 people arrested by the FBI. Press conference yesterday. Really big story and severely disappointing. But we start the show today as the World Series will begin tonight, Matt Pauley. And I know, being the host of Sports Open Line and Rush Hour Sports and Redbird Rush Hour during the Cardinals season and pre and post game coverage, you're going to have an eye on what happens starting tonight. Game 1, Toronto and Los Angeles. This is a very interesting World Series and 2 pretty good teams.
Yeah, it is an interesting World Series. And I mean, the Dodgers are the favorite, and they should be the favorite, and they're probably going to win. But does that mean that there's not an opportunity for Toronto to win? I'm not saying that at all. I think Toronto is a really kind of compelling, interesting team. They've got some very unique parts to what they do. So I'm excited for this World Series, and we'll see how it all plays out. But I think it's going to be an interesting matchup.
These are 2 pretty big media markets. Los Angeles is number 2 in the country here, right behind New York. So a lot of people will have eyeballs on it. You're going to have the Japanese market is going to be paying very close attention to this because of the Ohtani appeal. You will have Canada, and I'm assuming that most of Canada will probably get behind Toronto. And there's this there's a little bit of a political thing right now that's going on between this country and Canada. So I'm imagining that you're going to have a lot of Canadians just rooting for Toronto as a result of that alone, and a lot of eyeballs on it. And we always talk about, not always, but a lot of people talk about World Series ratings and, oh no, if it's not New York and LA, or if it's not if it's not Chicago or one of these bigger markets, there's not going to be interest. And then we have the is baseball dying conversation. And this happens every single year. But Matt, I would argue that baseball, even with the pending lockout, is in one of the healthiest positions it's been in a very long time.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if the ratings are going to look like this because, I mean, when we look at the ratings, they're domestic ratings. So
Right.
we're not, it's not going to account for Canada and obviously Japan. But I would suspect people are going to be interested in this series because of some of the individuals who are included in it. And I agree with you. Baseball's, I was reading some op-ed or something somewhere, and somebody had the premise that Major League Baseball has made all these changes and it's just made it more irrelevant. And it's the exact opposite of that. Ratings are up, attendance is up. Like this sport right now, this game is in a really, really good spot. And the games are more aesthetically pleasing as well. I know people thought it was a little bit wacky when you got rid of the overshift. Well, you know what? That allows more hits to get through. I know people thought it was a little bit wacky when you made bases larger. I don't know how much of an impact that actually had on stolen bases, but I do think that not throwing over to second as many times has impacted that. So the game is better than it was. It's quicker. Obviously, the pitch clock is a big deal. And of all the changes that they've made, That's probably the one that has most impacted interest going up, TV ratings going up, and attendance going up. It's kind of, in St. Louis, we talk about attendance going up, and it hasn't happened in St. Louis, obviously, but across Major League Baseball, attendance has been going in an upward direction.
Heard you talking about it on Sports Open Line a couple of nights ago, and you mentioned the pitch clock, and what a great implementation, what a great feature that has been brought to baseball, and just how good it's been. And I think back, and I said this prior to the DH debate, that it's one of those things that you're gonna push back against it right away because that's not baseball, and pitchers should hit, everybody should hit. And the argument I made is, as soon as this is implemented, it will take a very short period of time, and people are going to, at minimum, get used to it, and at most find out they actually kind of like it. And I think that's what happened with the DH. There are some people who still clamor for pitchers hitting, but I think that's a pretty small percentage.
The only thing I miss on that is the strategy that goes along with, okay, the pitcher's due up third in the next inning, so what are you going to do in double switches? I do miss that a little bit. Not to a point that I'm going to yell, climb a mountain and yell out how much I hate baseball, because that's not the case. But I do miss some of the strategy that existed previously with pitchers hitting that does not exist now, but I can deal with it.
Yeah, it's one of those things you just don't. I mean, maybe if you think about it, but you're not watching a baseball game thinking in the sixth inning, man, I wish we had a double switch coming up.
Yeah, no, in the moment, it never impacts you. When you take a step back, you say, okay, that part of the game was kind of fun, and that doesn't exist anymore. When it comes to the pitch clock, you just don't notice it. There are very few pitch clock violations. You have no clue that the pitch clock is even a thing. And then all of a sudden, 2 hours and 25 minutes after first pitch, the game is over. Like, oh, okay, that moved along at a pretty quick pace. And that's the thing about it. It's the pacing of it. There's always something happening. And that's why I like it. It's the fact that the game goes quicker is a nice byproduct, but what I actually like more about it is the fact that the game has moved at a quicker pace.
It's the get the ball and throw it aspect of baseball that's back. And when people were pushing back against the implementation of the pitch clock, when it was just an idea, and you had a lot of the old schoolers saying, don't mess with baseball. Baseball's fine the way it is, and leave it alone. We've never had a pitch clock. Why would we do one now? Well, it was obvious that games used to take a couple of hours. Like, if you want to get real old school, baseball games used to take 2 hours and 15 minutes, less than 2.5 hours. Then it became a thing over time in the last 20 years or so, where it was routine that a baseball game would take 3.5 hours. And that's not the way it used to be played. It wasn't played like that in the 1950s or the 60s or 70s or whatever golden era you want to look at. And I think that with the pitch clock, we've just taken it back to that. And as you mentioned, the ratings are up because people know that they're not settling in for a 4-hour baseball game every night. They know it's going to be relatively quick. There's going to be a lot of pace. There'll be a lot of action. And honestly, Matt, for the most, as much hell as we give Rob Manfred, I think a lot of these rules changes have been really nice for the game. And it's just overall in a really good spot right now.
Yeah, the game keeps your attention too because of the pace, because there's always something happening. I remember, so my final year broadcasting AAA baseball was the first year the pitch clock came into AAA. So I got to experience a year of broadcasting games with the pitch clock. And then I remember it's being implemented in Major League Baseball. And by that point, I'm working in Milwaukee doing Brewer stuff. And everybody who has never seen the pitch clock is telling me all the reasons this is going to be horrible. And I'm sitting there going, I've lived it. I experienced it over the last year. And A, you're not going to really notice it. And B, it's awesome. And it ended up being that way. So sometimes we just get worried. Even the runner on its second thing. And that's the one. A lot of fans are still against that. That changes the game. I get that. But it's not so much the impact it has that day. It's about the impact that it has the next day and the next day and the next day. Because the last thing you need is your team having a 2-4 week or a 2-5 week because they just played a 15-inning game and it takes a week for them to reset their bullpen.
Totally with you on that one. It does not bother me regular season. I'm glad. And this was a pushback against it. Well, you can't have two different sets of rules for the playoffs and for regular season because there's no I like the position baseball is in, which leads me to the lockout, which is very likely going to happen, and teams are already, telling everybody to get prepared for it. I hate the idea of stopping the momentum that baseball has gained in the last few years. And while it might come back okay on the other side of it, I just don't want to go through this.
Yeah, the players will get locked out. The question is our game's going to be missed? If spring training starts 2 weeks late, it's not the end of the world if you still play 162.
Or Matt, even if
an impactful negative, there won't be a negative force on the game.
Now, Cardinals fans are wondering, what is this team going to do? Why haven't they done anything yet? Well, they can't. The season is not over. World Series starts tonight, and Bo Bichette's going to be on the World Series roster for the Toronto Blue Jays. For the first time, he'll be playing. He hasn't played since spring training when he had the knee injury, so he's going to be part of it. Also, Clayton Kershaw will be on the Dodgers roster. There's a lot of intrigue in this series, and I am absolutely looking forward to it. You got a winner? Who do you think is going to take this one?
Probably the Dodgers.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Sorry.
I don't care who wins. I just want it to go 7.
Yeah, I'm kind of that way as well. I guess, yeah, I don't. It's easy to dislike the Dodgers from a big picture standpoint, but then when you really look at Shohei Ohtani's amazing and fun to watch. Freddie Freeman's a super good dude. Mookie Betts is a super good dude. You dislike the Dodgers for what they stand for, but then when you zoom in a little bit and you look at the actual guys, it's a really fun team.
It's a fun team, and I'll tell you, the Dodgers, I love the organization, and I love the fact they invest. And I know they have more resources than just about anybody else, but they could also not spend a lot of that money. And they choose to. They choose to do it. They choose to put a good product out there. They choose to be aggressive. And we need teams like that in baseball. So because there are too many teams who do the opposite, who don't invest. And if you're the Oakland A's, you get to be the Vegas A's and you get a new stadium. That's the result of intentionally tanking your team for 15 years. You get a new stadium in a new city. It's absolute nonsense. All right, Matt Pauley is with me. I'm Chris Ranji. Again, we'll talk Blues hockey with Amy Marks-Kors coming up at 12:30. And we'll talk to Scott McFarland, CBS News, about the NBA thing, what all the news that broke yesterday. Paulie and I will have a moment to talk a little college football, a little NFL as well when we come back. But you should know that right now, FanDuel is America's #1 sports book, and it's coming to Missouri December 1st, and you're going to be able to bet on all your favorite teams and all your favorite sports. Finally, awesome time of the year for it because football's still going on. Basketball is now underway. Hockey will be ongoing during the month of December, and you can get in on all the action in a bunch of different ways with FanDuel, like betting each individual game, team totals, or bet the spread, bet the winner outright, or if you want to do a future bet, like who you think's going to win the division, you can do that too with FanDuel. Plus, live betting, where you can pick the player you think will score the next touchdown or the touchdown after that. Download the FanDuel app now. Get familiar with it, and then you'll know how to use it when December rolls around. FanDuel.com/Missouri is where you can get that app. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel, play your game. 21 and over and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, St. Louis, the MLS Next Pro playoffs are here. Join us at Energizer Park as #1 seed St. Louis City 2 continue their run for the MLS Next Pro Cup. See the future of City SC soccer when City 2 take on Minnesota United 2 in the Western Conference semifinals this Sunday, October 26th at 5 p.m. Face painting, player autographs, and fun for the whole family. Tickets are only $16. Get yours now at stlcitysc.com/tickets.
Hey guys, it's Kevin Wheeler. Struggling with low energy, performance issues, or weight gain? Game Day Men's Health has you covered with testosterone therapy, ED treatments, and more, all in a relaxed environment that's like being in the man cave. At Game Day, you get a free testosterone test and consultation all in just an hour. Game Day is the premier men's health clinic with 3 area locations in Chesterfield, O'Fallon, Missouri, and Glen Carbon, Illinois. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com and get back to the top of your game with Game Day Men's Health.
Nobody had to tell your grandparents not to drive while using their typewriters. Why should it be any different for us kids and our cell phones? Distracted driving was the cause of more than 3,000 deaths in 2022. Come on, we're smarter than this. Let's put down the phones and focus on the roads. Drive safe, everybody.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Are you tired of online threats? Then get an antivirus. It's the only online protection you will ever need.
Disclaimer: an antivirus is just half protection online. It will not protect you from snoopers or encrypt your traffic. So get better online protection with NordVPN. NordVPN will encrypt your traffic, protect you from malware and phishing, and stop annoying ads. Save 77% on NordVPN and get 3 extra months.
From your friends at Lombardo Homes, congrats to Dave Glover and the DGS Show on 25 years of building something great. Thanks for keeping St. Louis entertained, informed, and laughing all along the way.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
104.1 FM KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Stronger than ever.
Matt Pauley, Chris Ranji on the Gashouse Gang until 1 o'clock today. Amy's coming up in a little bit to talk Blues hockey with us. They took it on the chin again. Last night at Enterprise Center, it's been, 3 of 4 games. They've had a rough go of it in that building, and what in the H is going on there? But Matt,
I know we're not talking Blues right now, but I did the numbers last night. In their 4 losses, they've been outscored 22-8. And in their 3 regulation losses, they have been outscored 20-7.
So is that bad?
Yes.
Okay. That's not good.
It was such a frustrating game last night. Now, Philip Broberg looked awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody else did not look awesome.
Stinky. They need to start practicing better.
Is that what it is?
I don't know. I mean, Montgomery earlier in the week was critical of it, critical of the way they've performed.
He was in a good mood after the game last night. He's like, well, you know, we got down big, but we showed spirit coming back.
Do you think he's just said, screw it, doesn't matter anymore?
No, because he was in a really bad mood on, was it, when did they last play? Was it Tuesday? Whenever that was, whenever the last game was, he was in a terrible mood after the game. So I kept it on last night just to wait for him. I wanted to see what kind of mood he was in, and he was in a good. It was kind of disappointing. I was like getting hyped up for how angry is Montgomery going to be, and he was in an okay mood.
Yeah, I kind of wanted him to throw some stuff.
Yeah, and he started it with like his head in his hand, and I was like, oh, okay, here we go. No, then he was fine.
That's awesome. He just really threw you a curveball.
You did.
A lot of NFL action here on KMOX Sunday. Giants and Eagles. We will have that game. We also have the Cowboys, Broncos. And then on Monday night, the Chiefs, who just absolutely, they won. It was a shutout of Tampa Bay earlier in the week. They got the Commanders at home. And Kansas City.
Las Vegas. Wasn't it Las Vegas?
Oh, no, right. It was the Raiders.
Yeah.
Raiders, sorry.
Right.
So they beat the Raiders. And the Chiefs, after starting, 0-2, I think there were all these people who were like, uh-oh, is this the end? I mean, I said this then, and it wasn't like it was some sort of groundbreaking thought, because the Chiefs are still very good, and I thought this is still going to be a playoff team, and it might very well be another Super Bowl team. Is there any reason to think they're not?
No. And right now, the odds are that they're going to win the Super Bowl. They're at plus 500 to win the Super Bowl. The Lions have the second best odds at plus 650. So that's a pretty good gap between the Chiefs and the Lions. It's pretty remarkable because 2-3 weeks ago, I think the Chiefs had the 6th or 7th best odds to win the Super Bowl, and they jump up to number 1 very quickly.
All right, Missouri Tigers, big game tomorrow. They play at 2:30. Fighting Illini, by the way, also a top 25 team. They play tomorrow at the exact same time at 2:30, and they go up against Washington. That'll be tough. But let's talk about this game at Vanderbilt, because the Tigers are 15th in the country. Vandy is 10. We know ESPN College Game Day is going to be on site for this one. And I've heard a lot of people say that this is a huge game, really, for both teams. Yeah. It's a huge game because of the CFP implications. And we're going to get those first rankings early November. That'll be the first time we get the college playoff rankings. But this game is, at this point, it's kind of everything for Mizzou that they need to win if they're really trying to be a playoff team this year.
Yeah, it is a college football playoff elimination game if you don't get help. There's still a possibility you could lose and get in, but you'd have to at that point, you kind of don't control your own destiny anymore. So in terms of controlling destiny, it is an elimination game. Missouri's looking for their first road win against a top 10 opponent since beating Georgia in October of 2013. I think it's pretty simple. If they can get after Diego Pavia, the Vanderbilt quarterback, who's really good, if they can get to him and if they can run the ball a little bit, something that they have not done in their last 2 games, I think they have a really good chance. But if Pavia doesn't get sacked, and Vanderbilt has a really, really good offensive line, and maybe the best offensive line in terms of protecting the quarterback in the SEC. If it's not, it's in the conversation. If Missouri can't get to Pavia, and if Missouri can't run the ball, I don't see how they win this game.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, it is the stretch that Mizzou is on, and we talked a little bit about this on Gashouse Gang yesterday with Bernie. The stretch that they are on right now, 3 of 4 games, and this will include their next game after this one. They got the bye week, and then they've got the following week they'll play Texas A&M. They are facing 3 of the top 5 Heisman candidates right now. So they've got Diego Pavia tomorrow. They're facing him at quarterback. They faced Alabama's quarterback, and then they're going to have to face Texas A&M, also a top 5 candidate, Marcel Reed. So this is hell, dude. This is a really tough stretch of football for Missouri, but they're still in pretty good position.
Yeah, we're talking on October 24th, and they still completely control their own destiny in terms of the college football playoffs. So they're in a good spot. It's kind of funny that Vanderbilt got good fast.
Yeah, they did.
We think of Vanderbilt as being the laughing stock of the SEC. Well, they're a legit team, and you know what? Good for Vanderbilt. And I'm sure College Game Day and SEC Nation and all that stuff is they're going to have a great time in Nashville, because that's a good city, and it just puts a spotlight on that school and on that football program. And it's funny, we're talking about Mizzou beating a top 10 team on the road for the first time since 2013. We never thought that was going to be potentially Vanderbilt, where they would do that. Yeah.
Paulie, enjoy the baseball tonight. Enjoy the football this weekend, and we're going to talk to you on Monday.
Sounds good.
Matt Paulie with us here on the Gashouse Gang. You can watch Gashouse Gang on Twitter at KMOX Sports. You can watch us on Facebook and YouTube. Just search out Gashouse Gang. The show brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Saliga Heating and Cooling.com. Also listen on the Odyssey app, and then go back and get podcasts later if you missed the show, because they're all available for you, or wherever you get your podcasts. Again, just search Gashouse Gang, and you can find it easily. Let's find out what in the world is going on with your St. Louis Blues. We will talk to Amy Marks-Kors, our resident hockey person. She'll be back next on KMOX.
My best friend Jimmy came over for coffee, said it's cold enough in here to play hockey. When my furnace broke and it's already late, call Jimmy Kelly, cause they're open till 8. JimmyKelly.com. They'll be here quick and have you feeling good. JimmyKelly.com. 'cause your furnace will be running like it should. The certified technicians, I've been told, will help you when it's hot and help you when it's cold. CherryKelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on. CherryKelly.com.
Who's been talking about St. Louis sports since 1985? Bernie Nicholas.
No manager stays in a place for like 50 years. You know, if you're going to bring in Molina and Pujols, rather than do it because you just want to sell tickets, that'd be the only reason. But I believe this firmly. The Cardinals have to put a really good, exciting team back on the field.
Hear what he has to say. Sponsored by
Saliga Heating and Cooling
on 104.1 FM KMOX. Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
61 degrees and mostly sunny. The high today is going to be 63. Could get a passing shower late, a low of 49.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Cardinal Cowboy here. Renner Garage Door has brought cheers to their fans for decades with the best styles, cutting-edge tech, and good old family values. Get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER. For your best vision, visit the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. They're the doctors' doctors, and what that means is more than 250 doctors trust their eyes to the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates, Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranja Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. So you should trust your eyes to them as well. Doctors Birdie and Malhotra are also cornea surgeons. They're experts in diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye, dry eye, allergy eyes, cataracts, macular degeneration, glaucoma, and yes, they do LASIK surgery as well. So do it today. Make an appointment with the doctors' doctors, the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates, and protect your sight. Call them at 314-966-5000. That's 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com. You can find Ophthalmology Associates at 12990 Manchester Road, just a half mile west of 270 on eastbound Manchester. youridoc.com.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. Underdog, the best place to get in on all the action during football season. Football season is in full swing, and that means Underdog is alive and well. You can select entries, and you can win money right now in Missouri. You just choose whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats. Or maybe they aren't your favorite players, but you just think that they're going to go higher or lower on a certain number, whether it's touchdowns, receptions, rushing yards, receiving yards, etc. They have all kinds of entries. You get them right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. It's Underdog. Download the app and use promo code TOM. Sign up with promo code TOM to score $100 in bonus funds or bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code TOM. Underdog, make plays, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Show, Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Monday night, get ready for Chiefs football as they face the Commanders.
Sightman Cancer Center game time, 6 p.m. Sightman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer.
The Chiefs, the Commanders.
Touchdown! Kansas City!
On your home for Chiefs football, KMOX.
Gonna need to start hearing a little bit more of this, and a little bit less of the other thing.
The sad organ music.
Yeah, the sad organ. You know what? Never mind. All right, Amy Marks scores.
Was it a bad joke?
Yeah, no, it was a good joke. It just, I couldn't have said it.
Couldn't execute?
No, I couldn't have said it in this location at this time.
Okay.
Because we have rules.
Yeah.
Amy Marks scores, part of the Chris and Amy show with me. The two of us are on from 9 to noon every weekday.
Maybe you've heard of it.
Maybe you've heard of it. And if you haven't, what's your damn problem?
Whoa, that's aggressive.
Right? So, Amy, what in the...
Well,
so
listen.
last night against the Woolly Mammoth, the Blues lost 7-4. Logan Cooley with a hat trick against us.
A natural hat trick.
Natural.
Which, for the uninitiated, means the same guy scored 3 goals in a row without any other goals in between those goals.
And every other hat trick is unnatural.
That's right. It's an unnatural hat trick.
Now,
It's
what
hard
is a
to do.
supernatural hat trick? Which is a great time of year to talk about the
Yes,
supernatural.
That's when the ghost scores the goals, probably.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, it's not been a great start, and it hasn't been a great start at home. The Blues were on a 15-game home winning streak, counting the playoffs going into this season. And I was a little too cavalier with that winning streak because I thought, dude, let's see how far we can get this winning streak at home extended. Well, right, it ended with the home opener.
Right.
They lost 5-0 to the Minnesota Wild. They lost 8-3 to the Chicago Blackhawks, who are not a good team. Last night, they lost 7-4. Now, the Utah Mammoth have it together. They're a good team. They're a tough division rival. But these are big losses.
Expansion, man.
They're a good team.
I guess Vegas was too, right?
They've got some. Right. I mean, did Vegas go to the Stanley Cup final their first year?
First year.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their expansion, yes, but also they get to cherry pick, right, from all the teams and so forth to build their own roster. The GM of the Utah Mammoth is Bill Armstrong, which may sound familiar. Long time. He was with the Blues before he moved to the Coyotes, then with the Utah Mammoth. He was the scout that found and pushed for Vladimir Tarasenko. He was the one that brought him over to the St. Louis Blues. But look, this has been a really tough start for the Blues at home, and they haven't looked good. I was laughing at myself, I should say, because I was not too worried about the big losses. Yes, it's not great to lose those big games, to lose those games at home, especially. It's not good. And if you lose 8-3 or 5-0, it's embarrassing, but it's an outlier. It's an anomaly. That's not how you're going to keep losing at home. That's what I thought. That's what I said. That's why I thought, that 2-1 overtime loss bothered me more than the 8-3 loss to the Chicago Blackhawks, because the 2-1 overtime loss showed you some bad habits. Jordan Binnington kept them in that game. It could have really gotten out of hand. And this loss right here has made me realize, wow, I was really wrong. I should have been way concerned about those big losses, because as I just mentioned, that 2-1 overtime loss a couple of nights ago could have been yet another blowout if not for Jordan Binnington between the pipes. Joel Hofer, Ranj, has a goals against average of 10.28. I don't think I've ever seen that. He has a save percentage of like 647.
So that doesn't seem good.
It's not good.
So what? Okay. At what point, and let's just try to pin this down specifically to Enterprise Center. At what point, and it's only been 4 games, right? But at what point does it become a thing?
I think it is.
You think it's a thing already?
Yeah, and that's why.
Because there's a difference between just a game or two, no big deal, it happens. Now it's a thing.
It's a thing, and that's why I was super wrong. I mean, I was wrong. I'm not someone who panics. I play the long game. I think that's why I'm a marathoner, right? It's a long run, a long race. I don't usually panic. And while I'm not panicked, we definitely know this is a thing for this Blues team. You don't have 4 games like they had. You don't give up as many goals as they have given up at home without it being a thing, because they're scrambling in the defensive zone. They're not able to do simple breakouts. They look shaken up is the best way I can describe it. And here is the thing. They are not a bad team. They are not this bad.
Right.
They're not. They have talent on this team. They have skill. We've seen what they can be. We saw them at the end of last year and that push and how they really turned things around Jim Montgomery. And Jim Montgomery said that some of the issues that we're seeing now with effort and execution, attitude, are the same effort, execution, and attitude issues that we saw last year.
All right. So this is a lot on coaching too. And I'm sure Montgomery's aware of this, that he has some agency in it. Players have to have their own agency too. They got to, you can only care. You can only make a player care so much or effort so much, but there is coaching involved. I mean, what more can he really do here?
I don't know. I mean,
so it's like
they've already there are players on this team like a Robert Thomas, like a Jordan Kyrou, who've gone through multiple coaches now, right? Like, I mean, they just have. They've seen Craig Berube, they've seen obviously Jim Montgomery. Some went back to Drew Bannister, and this is not a coaching problem right now. This is not a Jim Montgomery problem right now. Some people can point at changing up the lines a lot. Jim Montgomery was even shaking up the defensive pairings. I don't think that's the problem right now.
Can you bench starters here?
Well,
just completely healthy scratch?
So Logan Mailloux was a healthy scratch, but it wasn't punishment. Logan Mailloux got to watch the game from the press box as a healthy scratch for a couple of games because it gave him an opportunity to see how the play unfolds, how much time he actually has because the game does slow down from the press box. It also allowed him to sit there and talk with Al McInnes, talk with Robert Bertuzzo, veteran defenseman. The closest thing we're getting to a healthy scratch is being benched mid-game. When we saw Jimmy Snuggerud not play a single shift in the third period the other night, maybe he played one shift the entire third period. Logan Mailloux not getting a lot of time. What concerns me is our top four defensemen are starting to log really high minutes, over 20 minutes a game, Chris Pronger, Al McInnes minutes, which means you're not trusting your third pair, your bottom pairing, which would be a Logan Mailloux or Tyler Tucker or Matthew Kessel.
So we have a regular listener to the Gashouse Gang, Aaron, who is also a prolific commenter.
I can see that.
We appreciate Aaron and his comments on YouTube. You can do that, Facebook, Twitter. If you're watching on any of those platforms, you can leave a comment. And Aaron says it's not Monty. This is the spoiled, lazy-ass players. Is that true?
Well,
is it the spoiled, lazy-ass players, Amy?
Not using those words, but I mean, Monty said attitude needs to change. And at the end of the day, players have to play. So I don't know. I don't know how you fix that. Pavel Buchnevich was asked about Jim Montgomery's comments that the team is not starting the game on time. They're starting slow. And they said, what can you do? Why is that happening? And he said, good question. So it's early to have this much drama.
Can they go on the ice before the game and play a little quick period against themselves first?
I know, to warm up. Listen, ultimately, I know this is tough. Ultimately, I'm not worried. It's a long season, and you need to trust me when I say this is a skilled team. Jordan Binnington, we already know what he can do. Joel Hofer, Joel Hofer is in a bad spot right now, but he is a solid goalie, and we're going to see that.
Amy, beat it. Talk to you Monday.
All right.
I think this is enough you, man.
I know.
3 hours and 15 minutes?
Guess who's back on Gas House Monday?
Ah, crap.
This lady right here.
And I'm sure we'll be talking about Blues, Red Wings. They play tomorrow at 6 o'clock in Detroit.
It's going to be a win.
Better
trust
be.
me. It will be.
Well, because they're on the road.
Well, there's that. Yeah.
Amy Mark's course, thank you. Goodbye. Watch Amy Mark's course on Matrix Midwest as well. But listen to her on the Chris and Amy show 9 to noon every day, except for weekends. We like to have those off. We do have Scott McFarland, justice correspondent for CBS News. We're going to talk about what happened yesterday, the news breaking with the betting scandal and the poker scandal involving NBA players. That is next on KMOX.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-908-8646 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-908-8646. That's 800-908-8646. What do you have to lose? Call 800-908-8646. Again, 800-908-8646.
The DGS Halloween show is back, and you can hear it first on Friday, October 31st, starting at 4 p.m. Hear all about their ghost hunting experience and all the thrills and chills the show experienced this year. And to check out the ghost adventures from the past 20 years, head to KMOX.com/Halloween. The DGS Halloween Show, presented by Lore Wine and Spirits. Try Ghost Tequila today, the perfect spicy spirit to bring your Halloween celebrations to the next level.
Hey, Dave, this is Susan L. Ward, and my law firm and I want to wish you congratulations on your 25 years with the show. I am really, really glad that you left family law practice to me, and here's to 25 more for you on radio.
House stealing. It's a nightmare that's real. It's the FBI's term for thieves stealing your home's title and draining your equity. Just one fake document filed with a recorder, and scammers can own your home on paper, drain your equity, and do it all without you even knowing. Imagine waking up to a foreclosure or eviction notice. Listen to former title thief Matt Cox.
What people don't realize is the ease in which this crime can happen. I can take the deed to your house and I can transfer that deed into my name. It's a great crime, and it's happening all the time.
So how can you stop the nightmare and protect yourself? Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO and get a 30-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Don't wait. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now, promo code RADIO.
It's been said that our eyes are the windows to the world, and so it stands to reason we should take care of those eyes, right? And wouldn't you want to entrust that care to vision experts? Well, that's what you'll find at Ophthalmology Associates, specialists in every field of eye care, and they all share the common mission to provide their patients the highest quality of personalized care and attention. Thorough eye exams, cataract treatment, advanced vision correction surgeries, all aspects of eye care that's right for you is right at Ophthalmology Associates. This is Rick Wallace. They have been my trusted partners in the health of my eyes for almost 30 years. They are the best. Ophthalmology Associates, Drs. Bertie, Malhotra, Brusati, and Royer, 3 St. Louis area locations. Visit youridoc.com or call 314-966-5000.
Now back to the Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Usually we talk to our next guest during the Chris and Amy show, and it's in a news capacity. And this was news yesterday. Multiple NBA players and coaches arrested. Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, Damon Jones. Part of an illegal gambling situation. The FBI with a years-long investigation in this area, and just a mind-blowing story that occurred yesterday. And we've got Scott McFarland from CBS News, justice correspondent, who's been covering it, and he's with us now on KMOX. How's it going, Scott?
Hey, good afternoon. Nice to be here.
Nice to have you here on our sports show at KMOX. And my gosh, it's just there's so much that happened yesterday, and it's really hard to make it concise. But what do we, now that the dust has settled a little bit, what do we know?
2 different sweeping federal criminal cases that are bonkers in their own way. We've got a few dozen people charged. And by the way, buckle up, because when you go through the federal criminal justice system, you measure cases in years, not days or weeks. It's going to be a long, bumpy ride. First case is about basketball. Second case is about poker, but both of them really are just about fraud and schemes and bilking people out of their money. The basketball case is interesting to sports fans because some of the names may resonate. If you like the NBA, you know who Terry Rozier is. The Department of Justice is alleging Rozier took a dive to make money, that he checked himself out early from a game by surprise, but notified somehow, some way, gamblers and schemers he was going to do so that they could bet accordingly on his bad night and make money. And that there were other games and other instances in which information was shared confidentially, secretly, with gamblers about what was going to be happening on the court that night. and that a wide-ranging scheme was executed to enrich people off of that. And, oh, by the way, it's really easy to bet on basketball right now. You can do it from your phone in your car if you want to in many states. The other one's about poker, but it's not at all about poker. It's about enriching the mob, and giving money to the mob is dangerous for any number of reasons that Hollywood has shown us through the years. What was happening there is, you should send a chill down the spine of anybody who likes to play a card game. Elaborate technology was employed to doctor poker games, illegal poker games in which deep-pocketed people were the victims and which they were playing. Technology like card shufflers that know which cards go where and can communicate that information out. Special eyewear that can detect things the naked eye can't see marked on cards. X-rays that see the bottom of cards face down on a table, and somebody on the outside getting information wired to him or her and then sending tips back to stooges at the table who then quarterback the scheme from the side of the cards themselves. Money goes to the mob. Money goes to the schemers. And, oh, by the way, tying this all together in a bow, one of the people charged in that case is one of the NBA figures, the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, NBA Hall of Famer, Chauncey Billups, who was brought to the table to lure the big pocketed victims.
And so the accusation is that Billups knew what he was doing, that he was coming there to bring in what they were calling fish, like to reel in these fish that they could scam them. He was, according to the allegations, aware of all of it.
And they had a name for that person. It's called the face cards. The people whose face shows up at the table and helps you lure in the victims, the people willing to throw a few $1 million down on a poker game, an underground unlawful poker game, which is difficult to do, I suspect, for several different reasons. One of which is that you can play poker pretty much anywhere legally if you go to a casino and do it the right way. So Billups is charged in the poker game. He's alluded to without his name in the basketball case as well. He is an unnamed member of the alleged scheme there, as somebody who was able to communicate out information about what was going to happen on the court that night.
Scott McFarland, CBS News justice correspondent with us. And full disclosure, I endorse FanDuel as a sports betting app. I am in favor of legalized sports betting. I'm in favor of heavily regulated sports betting so that a lot of this is not done underground, under the table. And the argument has been made in the last 24 hours that, see, this is what happens. This is the natural result of sports betting now being in bed with all of these sports leagues, and that, of course, this is going to happen. But is there any real indication that this is happening because of or exacerbated by legalized sports betting, or is this all pretty much just under the table stuff we're talking about?
That is such a good question, such an impactful question, because I think the argument can be made round or flat on this one. Do you want to argue it this way? Or you want to argue it the other way? Is it possible this stuff would have been undetected if not for the licensed, legal sports books that now function, that are able to do data analysis and see a pattern of suspicious bets and flag a pattern of suspicious bets? You do this stuff all under the table, is nobody flagging nothing to nobody? Or do you want to argue that this has now made sports gambling so easy and so widespread, so simple, that it's become an even more lucrative business? If it's possible to make gambling more lucrative, perhaps this did it and is incentivizing people to scheme. So you could argue that either way. I think the people who are in the business of gaming would say that this is why we do it above board. This is why we do it out in the open, transparently, publicly, with government oversight, so that when somebody tries to pull a scheme, we see it and, tell the authorities. And we all looked at a bunch of authorities yesterday, didn't we, at a news conference in Brooklyn announcing that they'd stopped something.
Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, is, I'm sure, very concerned about this. Executives around the NBA are concerned about this. So is there, and there's going to be a trial here. There are going to be courts involved, and this is going to be, as you said, ongoing for a very long time. But any real feel about what the end result could be for sports leagues and for sports betting?
Absolutely. First of all, we want to raise the stakes even higher for the NBA. They just started a new television contract that is paying them billions of dollars a year with new partners. If they got dirtied up early in that, that'd be a problem for lots of different stakeholders, wouldn't it?
Yep.
What is the next step? Well, let's look at what happens in traditional federal criminal cases, especially when there's more than one defendant. And in this case, there's more than 30 defendants. What happens is typically, somebody flips. Somebody becomes the first to plead guilty, secures the most leniency from the Department of Justice for doing so, turns state's evidence or U.S. evidence against the other defendants, and bolsters the criminal case against each of the other people, which then incentivizes other people to flip and turn over evidence and then become witnesses against the remaining defendants. And that's often where we get, drum roll please, new defendants, where they start implicating other people, perhaps other famous names. And that's how a case gets bigger. But all of this tends to take years.
Well, this is just an unbelievable. You know what? I shouldn't say it's unbelievable because betting has been going on and the mob has been involved. And, we had the NBA official from 20 years ago almost, Tim Donaghy, who was betting or, had a betting implication on the games that he was officiating. So, this is not something new. It's been going on for a very long time.
Even broader, though, doesn't it take some of the charm and joy out of sport when this is the conversation? What sport's supposed to be? Let me throw it old school for you real quickly.
Yeah.
Sport's supposed to be when you're 9 years old and you watch Ozzie Smith hit his first ever left-handed homer off Tom Niedenfuhr to send the St. Louis Cardinals on their way to the World Series.
Uh-huh.
And as a little boy, you can scream at the top of your lungs with joy, and you didn't have money on it.
Yeah, but also, that Black Sox scandal was pretty charming in hindsight, wasn't it?
It's all relative, brother. It's all relative.
Scott, I'm so glad that the NBA gave you a respite from having to cover dirty politicians and dirty politics. So
it's definitely a change in topic.
Isn't it? Thank you. You're the best, Scott McFarland. Appreciate you as always.
Thank you.
Scott McFarland, CBS News justice correspondent, with us here on the Gashouse Gang. Just an unbelievable story. Maybe I shouldn't. I said that twice now. Is unbelievable really the case? I think we could see this happening. Players and people have been. I know that gambling takes place. We've seen stories about NBA players almost getting in fights on planes. JJ Redick telling a story about that because they were playing some card games. I know baseball players do it. I've heard stories of baseball players gambling. So not good. Hopefully there will be a good solution to this soon. But we appreciate everybody for being on the show, like Scott McFarland, Amy Marks, Coors, Matt Pauley. I'm Chris Ranji. Anything you missed on the Gashouse Gang, you can go back and get it on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast. And this show will be back with you at noon on Monday. Have a great weekend. Talk to you then. The Dave Glover Show is next.